Hello there, this is a quick tutorial, or maybe not so quick, on how to use a script writing program that is free and available through your Chrome browser to write your screenplays. Okay, so the first thing you have to do is open up a browser in Chrome. Here's one I prepared earlier. On the top left hand side, you'll see that there's a space for apps, and so we click apps. These are all the apps that I have installed in my Chrome browser. I actually already have the one that I want to use, which is called Rawscripts. Let's imagine that I didn't. We go down here to the bottom right hand corner and click on the web store. Okay, then we simply search for Rawscripts, and there it is. This has already been added by me. Otherwise, there would be, where this thing rated is, there would be a blue plus button, and you just simply click that and it will add it to your Chrome browser that you are logged into. Alright, let's go back. Okay, so imagining that you have already installed Rawscripts, you're going to go ahead and click on it. Alright, so here we have a login screen, and we are going to log in using our Google account because that's what everyone at school has. Okay, so this is what it brings you to, a sort of home screen where you can either work on a script that you have already started or create a new one. Let's choose a good one. Oh no, let's choose a bad one, and then we'll have a look at a good one. And I'll take you through how to use the program and the basics of script writing. Alright, so the first thing, when you open up a new script, it will automatically add the words in fade in, which is traditionally how all screenplays begin, which simply means that it fades in from black or from the title screen. The next line down is this grayed outline, and that is called a slug line. As you can see here, it says slug line. A slug line is basically your scene heading, and it just gives, at a quick glance, information about the scene. And so if your scene is indoors, then it will say int for interior. If it is outdoors somewhere, then it will say ext for exterior. The next thing after the int or ext will be where the scene is set, and so this scene is set in Mark's house. The next thing after that will be when the scene is set. So those three pieces of information are just real essential kind of information about the scene, and you can quickly see what's happening and where. Okay, if we go and type that and then we hit enter, it takes us down to what will probably be the first line of your scene, and that is called an action line. So as you can see here, it says action. And an action line is basically describing what is happening in the scene. So here we've got Mark is tied up by goons. This line here is the character's name, and then his dialogue. I've got to get out of here somehow. And then we go back to an action line. He breaks his bonds and gets past the guards to escape. And then we've got a dialogue, etc. Alright, let's see if we can add a couple of things to this scene. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. And automatically assumes that I want to add another character, and if you're doing dialogue where it's going backwards and forwards between two characters, then that might be the case. Down here I've got some other options. So it says if I hit the enter button, I can just keep on adding more dialogue. If I hit the tab button, I can go back to an action line, and so I'm going to hit the tab button. So that's our next bit of action that we've got. Hit enter again. Again, it's assuming that I now want to do some dialogue, so in this case, yeah, why not? Okay, down here I've hit enter and I've got a space to write my dialogue, or if I press the tab button I can have a parenthetical, which is just a fancy way of saying brackets. So I'm going to do that. And you add those parentheticals to give the actors a little bit of direction on how you want them to say the line. So I want this guy to be laughing maniacally or evilly when he says his line. And on it goes. Okay, that is the basics of how to get going and write your screenplay. So you've learned how to install Rawscripts, how to open up a script that you have already been working on, what the basics are of script writing, so your slug lines, which give your sort of scene information, the action lines, which tell what is happening in the scene, and the character and dialogue lines, and also how you can add more information using the parentheticals to give the actors some guidance on how you want them to be saying the lines in your script. Okay, that's all fine and dandy, but this script is bad. It is a shocker. So let's go back. So I'm going to click File, Save and Close, and have a look at the same sort of script, but a better one that has more detail. Okay. A dimly lit room is slowly revealed through a slow pan. So you can put in some sort of camera information if you want. You don't have to, but if you're writing the script and some shots are sort of coming to mind as you write, then chuck them in there. There are signs of a struggle with clothes and objects turned over and strewn around. We can hear muffled cries. The pan ends on Mark, who is tied up. We see that he is secured by duct tape on the hands and legs, tying him to a chair. His eyes spot a broken bottle and he starts rocking the chair. This action line gives the audience, or the reader in this case, a much more detailed account of what is happening in that scene. You can picture what is happening in that scene. That action line is going to be far easier to go away and shoot and turn into a film than the previous one in the other script, which simply said Mark escapes somehow and overpowers the guards. So you pretty much have to try and break it down into a blow by blow, and then you can basically take your script away and it will be your number one most important document when you are filming. Alright, so let's say you've been working on the script and you're pretty much finished. You have a couple of options. You can go File, Export, and export it as a PDF document, and then you can open that up and print it and you're ready to roll. And another cool thing about Rawscripts is, let's say you've been working on this scene and you think you've got it pretty good, and then you want to share it with the other people in your group so they can maybe add to it or keep going on a different part of the script. You can collaborate. So you click Share, Collaborators, and you can add them in and they will then have access to that document. Or if you don't want them to muck around with your masterpiece, you can go share and email the PDF to them, which they won't be able to edit. Okay, so that's the basics of script writing using the really handy free Rawscripts tool. Hope you enjoy writing your screenplays.